It's time for Rat Salad Review with your hosts, Wayne Noon, Greg Norgal, and Nate Lander.
All right, welcome to Rat Salad Review. Hey, who the hell are you?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Troy Noor.
Troy
Welcome
Noor.
back.
Oh, damn it. I think I went back in time again.
Oh,
You're wrong. You went back into Greg went back in time. Greg
Went
went
back
back
into
the
time.
last time I saw him.
You haven't been on the show in like a year.
I know. I've been
You
busy.
just ghosted us.
I didn't ghost you.
You ghosted us. You just up and
Shut
left.
up. That is not true.
Said I'll be back next week, and he was gone.
Oh, you just not be.
But you're back now, and this week we're going to review a band called Them.
Oh,
Have you listened to the new album yet?
they look pretty. I don't know, weird looking.
this
Especially this guy. Yeah, that guy right
really
there.
weird. He's real weird. And this guy here, he's kind of funny. He's been on the show a few times.
That guy's very funny, actually.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Yeah, he is. But that guy with the
He's very weird. But
the bloody cross on his face, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
What is he supposed to be? Like an evil Willy Wonka?
I think like a tree elf or something.
Tree elf? He might be.
Yeah.
Evil Willy Wonka. Yeah, I can kind
Evil
of see it.
Willy Wonka.
I hear he
I've
does.
heard that.
He makes good mac and cheese, though. I do know that.
Yes, he does.
Got a good mac and cheese recipe.
Damn straight about that. I'll drink to that.
You have to use human fat to grease the pan. That's the
Ooh.
secret.
Oh man.
Cooking with KK.
Well, welcome, Troy.
Yes, welcome back.
Should I call KK? Because I have nothing to do with this.
We actually
Okay.
wanted him on the show, so
KK, come here.
you just showed up.
What, you want me to do it? All right, I'll do it. He wants me to do this thing.
No. What a
Thingy.
wimp.
Stand it right here. Fuck you too. Just said fuck me.
He's a man that values his privacy.
He's very quiet too. I don't hear him at all.
He's sitting there.
That's ignorant.
He's ignorant.
All right, so Mr. Troy, aka KK Fosser.
We'll leave that for now. But go ahead.
Way to spoil the secret, ass.
It says it inside the album. I mean, come on.
Which album?
All of them.
No, the second one doesn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't say it in manner. It says
Is it
says
that
it in
other one
Sleepy.
too, right, KK? I know. I just have to.
Regardless, everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'll drink
We have a new album coming out soon, right?
that. We do.
Well, you do.
Yeah, return to Hemmersmoor.
What in the hell is Hemmersmoor?
Well, it's a town. It's a town in European region. Outside, it's like within the Germany, I think Austria area. Small town, and that's where the whole story started back in Sweet Hollow.
Yep.
Ends there,
And it
Or
starts
does-
there,
does it?
ends there.
or does it? I don't know. Does it end there, KK? Oh yeah, it does. Doesn't? I don't know. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
confused.
I'm pretty positive at the very least they don't have a water tower anymore.
They definitely don't have a water tower.
Though.
Yeah, I think Remsen knocked that one down.
Oh my god. Speaking of Remsen's all over this album.
Great.
Yes.
That part of the story, the sound effects, Remsen's voice, that was just perfect.
Yeah, he did a very good job on his album. I was very entertained in the beginning of the album when he's like, talking to you, and at the end, very exciting stuff happening on this album.
There was a lot of stuff with him on this album for sure. Because if you look at the whole, like if you look at the album as an album, I mean, or each one of them, sustain their own on their own.
Yeah.
But when you put them all together, it's literally one continuous story, and that was the vision from the beginning. Not initially from the beginning, because in the very beginning it was supposed to be a one over, a one-shot deal with Sweet Hollow. But when we released the first single in 2015, because that actually came out before the album, which was almost a year later, it turned out that there was a huge, a tremendous response from that one single, lyric video. And I remember saying to KK, "Hey, look, you should get your butt in gear and maybe continue your story." And he said, "Yes, you're right. I'll continue it." So it continued into Manor, and the way both album 2 and 3 start is the way the one before it ended, but from a different perspective. So with Manor, it begins at the ending of Sweet Hollow, moments before Sweet Hollow ended, where it's just another area of the cemetery where the children stumbled upon, what was going on with this sacrifice of sorts that KK was involved in, and that's where that whole story of Matter of Seven Gables, went forward. Well, the ending of Matter of Seven Gables, KK is caught by Peter Thompson, aka the witch hunter or witch finder.
I am the witch finder general.
Well, he's not a general, but he's not in that class. But he, nonetheless, he hunted down KK. He captured him. He destroyed the coven.
He was going to burn him.
And then he was tied him up at the stake, and just to throw a little cherry on top, he informed him that it was he who disposed of his wife and daughter during the Hemmersmoor trial. And KK was just blown away, like, holy cow. That was just like he's about to die, and he had to hear this. That it was this guy who did it. And he says, mind you, if our paths cross again, he said it in so many words. You go back, you listen, read the lyrics, listen to what's going on. If our paths cross again, I will rip your core out, or rip your heart out. And that's what he said. And he says, okay, well, toodaloo to you. Goodbye, Mr. Fosser. And he lights him on fire. And in Matter of Seven Gables, he's screaming, right? Because he knows his fate is upon him. However, Return to Hemmersmoor takes place moments before that final moment of KK's demise. Now, Remsen, not many people know, if people purchased the 7-inch single that we had in between Man of the Seven Gables, which he does have it. And yeah, he has it right. I see it right there. And Return, there's a single, and it's called Back in the Garden Where Death Sleeps. And well, what does that mean? During the song Secret Stairs on Man of the Seven Gables, KK instructs Remsen. He knows that Thompson circled the manor, and they're about to barge in, and he just instructs Remsen that you must go back and continue the plan. It's the second part of the plan. You have to go back. This is what you have to do now. So Remsen escapes through the secret stairwell. He comes outside, away from the house. There's a lake near the house. He comes out from under the lake, okay, and he flees, and he goes back to Sweet Hollow. And in the single, Back in the Garden Where Death Sleeps, there's a little bit of dialogue from Remsen, where Remsen is saying, I hope Master will be so proud of me. I've arrived on time. We're going with the plan. I'm gonna get what we came here for. And then moments later, he's talking to the dead body of Mary Hawthorne, who was sacrificed in the end of Sweet Hollow. Now there has been a small amount of time that has transpired between that event, and now the event of him returning to the cemetery because now her body has been buried and it's now decaying. Well, he unearths the body. He tidies her up a bit, cleans her up, and he says, Master's going to be so proud that I did what he wanted me to do. And he brings the body back, unsuspecting what he's going to be walking into. He arrives there with a horse-drawn carriage with the body of Mary Hawthorne in the carriage, and he stumbles upon the final moments of KK's and Peter Thompson's interaction, where he sees his master at the stake, ready to be burned alive, and he has to save him. So what does he do? He thinks quickly. He's just this crazy, wild, erratic individual to begin with. Well, what does he do? He quickly figures out that there's this huge water tower that supplied water to the surrounding town, that if he ties one end of the rope that he had to that water tower and the other end to the carriage, that he could knock down the water tower and extinguish the fire. And that was the only way to save him, because he doesn't have brawn, Remsen, but he has his brains, and that's what he did. He pulled the water tower down. The crack of the whip, the horse pulled the water tower leg out. The water extinguishes the fire and washes all the men away. Peter Thompson and his crew get washed away, thereby giving them a few moments to reconvene and flee. And he needs to free KK, because KK's chained to the stake, bound to the stake. And at that moment, when he first approaches him, and he says, I've returned, I've got you what you wanted, and let's go. We have to go. We have to continue. We have to move on. We have to get out of here. And KK just admits, he's defeated. He doesn't know how to process what he was just told moments before, which is really on the last record. Right. That this guy who was about to kill him, took away his wife and child. So he's still trying to process that. And he's just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So Remsen just convinces him. He just says, no, what are you talking about? We have this last part of the plan, which you don't really know at the moment, like really what that means, but he coerces him into realizing that the third part of the plan is to bring back something that was taken from him. So he convinces KK to see the logic to leave, and they get up, they flee, and they, then from that point on, it's the whole album is the different chapters of their journey back to where this all started, which is Hemmersmoor. So they took a boat to overseas. They found a way to travel across the ocean, because they had to go back, and there was this magical field outside of Hemmersmoor where they planned all along to bring the body back. Now this body, why the body of Mary Hawthorne? Well, the Mary in her live state just naturally reminded KK of his daughter Miranda. And really, that it was like it's like one of those moments where, like, wow, they literally, she could be my daughter, like literally, like her mannerisms, everything. So naturally, she was a prime candidate in that sense. But she died because he was trying to save her soul from the Crimson Corpse. That was the whole reason why she died. There was no way. He had to do it. He didn't. Right. He never did anything. He's like an anti-hero. He did things where almost like, I guess, like the character Venom. Like, like he knows he has to take out the bad guy, but if he takes out some good guys, he does it. That sort of thing. Right. They call like an anti-hero, right? It's like an anti-hero. So, KK, he was just so set on this whole plan, but he was distracted by Thompson. So Remsen gets him back on track. They go over there. They bring the body to the field, and they perform the ceremony. And the ceremony really consisted of spells. It consisted, because remember, KK is a warlock by faith, so he does have those abilities. So it consists of spells, potions, sage. He brings everything out. He's got to bring back his daughter. That was the whole point of all of this up to this point. And the funny thing is, most of the album, musically, because remember, music conveys the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, you have to understand, like from a listener standpoint, this is not a conventional band. This is not, like a conventional, traditional band. This is, it's not like, okay, each song we write, we might write about politics, we might write about this, we might write about that, different stories. That's how I've written my stories in other groups throughout my whole life. But this is different. It's the whole entire thing is a concept. The whole entire, song by song is another part of the story.
Right.
And a lot of people have commented, oh, this whole thing is a trilogy. It's not a trilogy. It's one story. It's one story. The 3 albums are one story. And up to this point, KK has done everything. Like, he's not a bad guy. He looks the way he looks. He was branded. He was marked as evil because people just never understood what he stood for. So you have that whole notion of, don't judge a book by its cover. That's KK is the prime example of that. He's not he's not an evil, bad person, even though he has an inverted cross burned on his face. And, he looks evil, he looks mean, he looks like an evil Willy Wonka, like as some people have said. But what's important is that he's skilled at what he does, what he can do, I should say. And so they perform the ceremony. And it's successful. They bring Miranda back. They bring the soul, the spirit, not soul, the spirit of Miranda Koenig into the body of Mary Hawthorne. Now, mind you, the body is decaying. It's decaying. It's in maybe a stage 2 decay state. You'd have to look that up, as I have.
I'm not looking. I'll take your word for it.
So
I've listened to a lot of Carcass. I know what he's talking about.
So she's not looking, physically, she's not looking great. And, here this girl, she's standing before him ultimately. And, she's a little bit, she's like disorientated, right? She wakes up, she's disorientated. She doesn't know what's going on. She's like, where's my mother? Where, what's that on your face? What's going on? What happened? Where is she? And he explains to her through an interlude called Memento Mori that she is gone, and that this is from Peter Thompson, and he killed you, and he killed me. He killed me. What do you mean he killed me? Yeah, you were dead. I brought you back, and your mother's gone. Well, bring mom back too. I can't do that. It's not that simple, and it's not that he didn't love his wife, but there weren't certain conditions that were there to facilitate that to happen, or so he could see. It's not like, oh, okay, any, mini, miny, mo, I'm going to pick a body by the toe, like you can't do that. So he couldn't do it. And he just told her, I can't do that. And it's over. It's done. Like, she's not coming back. And Miranda's very upset and distraught in her, in her new body, not even knowing that it's a new body. And he just tells her, look, let's go home. And he thinks that everything is going to be great, And I think the one song on the whole record that kind of like, it's a transitional song, the way I see it. And funny thing is, that's what I started to say before, but went on a tangent. The funny thing is, the first single or lyric video that was released called Free, a lot of people don't understand it. And I've seen comments, and hey, look, people could say it's great. They could say it stinks. They could say, it's a King Diamond copy, even though it isn't.
Mm.
But it doesn't matter. Like, people have opinions. That's cool. But not truly understanding what is going on, they won't understand. They wouldn't understand. Like, they would say, where did this song come from? Like, I think one comment, some guy wrote, like, oh, it sounds like Don Dokken. This guy looks mad, and all of a sudden it's like Don Dokken or something like that. Like, meaning it's commercial. Like, it doesn't look like it's gonna be. Yeah, and it's a commercial song. But if you listen to the song itself, musically, it's upbeat, it's happier sounding, it's got like resolution in it. And the reason and what's happening in that song is that's when they finally step foot on European soil. They're completely free. They escaped the clutch of Thompson. They have nothing but good things to look forward to. They're going to bring back Miranda. Everything's going to be hunky-dory moving forward. There's the first time throughout this whole entire story, spanning across 3 records, there's actually some happiness, for as brief as it may be. And there's a good reason for it. The mood is relayed through the music. No. And that is what happens there. But the rest of the album is nothing like that. So a lot of people that are writing, oh, you know, what happened and this and that. Well, you know what? Whatever. You can say whatever you want. As a song by itself, I think it's cool. I like it. It's different. You know, it might not seem like it fits, but in the story wise, in the concept, it fits. Right. It makes sense. And moving further on, once Miranda is brought back, KK talks with her, they start to move on away from the field. Well, little do they know that Peter Thompson regrouped with his men. And Peter Thompson was determined. He doesn't let people get away. He's never let anybody get away. He's the world's renowned witch hunter. And him and his men, they traveled. They traveled once before. They traveled again. They were right on his tail, on KK's tail. He didn't even know it. So here they come this time with, you know, a pack of hunting dogs, and he had his men with him, hunting dogs, and they hunted him down in the Hemmersmoor area, and he approaches him. And again, you don't hear this on the album. I'll send this to you. But you didn't hear this. He tells him, and you know what? This is not on the album. So let me just, I'll tell you exactly what he says.
Why is it not on the album?
It's not on the album. It was, and the reason why this is not on the album, it's for a good reason. When you listen to the record with any types of extra dialogue or interludes or intros or outros, whatever, there has to be a certain flow. Okay, there's a certain like formula, right? A flow. There has to be a flow. There can't be too much of a downtime or too much of a lull, otherwise it's just gonna flop. So we listened to it. Objectively, it was pointed out that it just destroyed the flow. And I agree 100%. Not that it was bad. You'll hear it. I'll send it to you. It's very good. And it's probably the best performance from Peter Thompson. Like, literally, it's just awesome. But it just destroyed the flow of the album itself. So this might rear its head in an upcoming video. Theatrically performed in conjunction with this dialogue that was recorded, because sometimes you need a visual. And there's no visual with this, but I'll tell you exactly what happens. So Battle Blood. So in the song Battle Blood, this is where Peter Thompson and his crew arrive, and KK, Remsen, and Miranda were actually heading off. And Peter Thompson arrives with his men and the dogs, and he arrives and he says, well, look who we have here. If it isn't the elusive KK Fosser himself, it seems that your wizardry saved you for a brief moment, but this time you won't get away. Prepare to meet your maker, Fosser. On my command, men. Ready? The guns are cocked and loaded. Aim. And KK interrupts him. Wait. Do you remember when I told you back in Salem that the next time our paths cross, I would rip your heart out? And Peter Thompson chuckles. Ah, yes. And KK says, well, I lied. And at that moment, Peter Thompson is facing KK as they're having this little memorable moment. Miranda walks behind Peter Thompson and thrusts her hand into his back and rips out his heart while it's still beating. Then tells her father, I love you, Daddy. And Peter Thompson is dying. And as he's dying, he says, I'll get you, Fosser. And then KK looks at him and he says, and he looks at his daughter and he says, well done, my child. And he looks back at Thompson and he says, well, as for you, Thompson, it was so nice to see you again. Eh? And he starts chuckling. And as he's chuckling, Miranda continues to kill the men and all the dogs. And that's when the song would start. But it was just too much. The dialogue is just awesome. It had nothing to do with the dialogue. It just had to do with the flow. And then the song Battle Blood. Since, you know what, I gave you a first. I'll give you another first. How about this?
Jeez, look, breaking ground here. Wow.
The live performance video
Ding, 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 ding.
is this song, Battle Blood, which happens to be, in my opinion, well, I think it's the fastest song that we've written. It's pretty high up there in the BPMs. There's quite a bit of blast beating going on in there as well.
Yeah, I love this song. It's really cool.
It's a good song. It's simplistic lyrically, done so strategically because there's a lot going on, and usually when there's a lot going on, it could sound like a mess. It's too much vocally going on. But this song is going to be the next lyric/performance video, and I believe it's going to be released November 25th. So that's this coming Friday. Will it have the intro?
November. This is coming. It's September.
It's like a month from now, dude.
No, it's like 3 days. No, literally.
You said no. You said November.
You said November. Yeah.
See, another drawback for being 51. So it will be released in 3 days from now. So that's September, not November or October or December. 3 days. Battle Blood. We're really happy with it, and there's a lot of blood going on.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, think about it. She just
it fits the song.
Yeah, it does. It does. And so it's a lyric/performance video. So we just filmed that like within a week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. We did our stuff a week before the Germans did their stuff. And so back to the story. So we're back here. All right. So Peter Thompson is whacked. He's gone. His men are gone. The dogs are gone. Everyone's gone. She looks at her father and says, I love you, Daddy. And he says, well done. Remsen sees it. He's not saying anything. KK's not really seeing it. He senses something is not 100% right. Something is slightly off. He can't pinpoint it. He proceeds to tell his daughter what happened. And in the song, I think it's the next song, Maestro's Last Stand, I don't know, did you guys listen to that one too? You happen to listen to that song? Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, but the song in the verses, it's sung exactly the same way as the first song of the first album.
Yeah. Remember, I mentioned that to you.
You did. You said, I think I heard this.
Yeah, it took me a while to like get, to remember it, and then once I kind of got it, I was like, oh, I remember that. That's my favorite song off that album.
I had to go back and listen to it, but I knew I had heard that before, and it was driving me nuts.
That's what it was.
Second or third time or so, I listened
it's the
to
same
this
thing,
new album. I had to listen to
minor.
all. I listened to everything in a row, though, starting from Sweet Holly, including the 7-inch.
Include the 7-inch.
Yeah.
So now you get it. It's a round robin. It's coming back to where it began, in a sense. So he's telling his daughter, and the lyrics are almost the same too, to the verses of Forever Burns, where he tells her, not burns by the fire, burned by the fire. You were deceased. You were killed by the beast. You were killed by the beast. Your mother was killed by the beast. The beast being Thompson. Killed her because he just learned that a little while ago. He's talking to her and he's saying, something's something's not right. Why are you looking at me? The way you're looking at me. Bless you. Why are you looking at me like that? Bless you. Bless you.
I put the mute on so nobody had to hear that. And you brought it up.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, though.
Hey, he's being polite.
Well, you could edit all that out, Mr. Editor.
No, you were talking, so I can't.
You couldn't edit that out.
Anyway.
Before you forget again.
He turns to her, that ugly guy, and he says, why are you looking? You're looking at me like weird. Like, you look like you want to hurt me. Like, is everything all right? She's like, I would never hurt you, Daddy. I would never hurt you in a tone like a sinister tone. Something is wrong. Something's not right. Well, he finds out really soon that it wasn't Miranda. It was the Crimson Corpse he brought back. Yeah. And his Crimson Corpse, in now this human form, sucks him into the ground. Just sucks him into the ground. Just ground opens up, sucks him into the ground. And as he's getting sucked into the ground, he realizes it's over. And he yells out, Remsen. And, Remsen's like, what the fuck is going on, Master? And he says, don't forget your bloodline. Your bloodline, Remsen. And he gets sucked into the hole. Done. What do you think happened? What do you think he meant by that?
I don't know.
What do you think he meant by don't forget your bloodline? And it doesn't refer to go watch Hellraiser 4.
I was not thinking of the Lamar Chan configuration. I was actually thinking of Renfield and Dwight Fry, but
is Remsen somewhat of a warlock too?
Nope. So what he meant was that the only way that both of them will be saved, that they can be saved, is through his bloodline, which means he has to procreate someone that will ultimately bring him back, because it's just not happening now. Remsen doesn't have the capability or the know-how to do that. So what that means is there's another 7-inch coming out, or so it should be, called Encore. Okay, this will probably be 6 months, 8 months, probably when we're able to tour. That's what I'm thinking. They'll bring it back out. They'll bring it out, but it's already in the bag. I could send that to you too. You could hear it. It's thrash, just thrash. It's called Encore, and in the song, there's a little bit of dialogue, just to let the listener know that Remsen. This is after those events. Remsen immediately after, and Remsen has no idea what just happened. He's just confused, and he hears KK's voice saying, "You have some seed to sow." He's got seed to sow, which means he needs to create someone who in turn will create someone else down the line. Maybe his great-great-great-great-great-grandson, maybe, brings KK back in a different time period.
And then Angel lays down this awesome drum riff and it kicks into Kiss's Love Gun.
There you go. And then Angel flies back into space if he wants to. But I forgot to mention one last part of the ending of that record. So I just told you after the record. So right at the end, when he gets sucked into the ground, if you wait a few moments, you'll actually hear an outro. And it's only maybe about a minute long. Actually, maybe 40 seconds long, 45 seconds long, something like that. And what it is, it's KK dying. KK is dying. And as he's dying, he hears voices of various people that have been involved in his life, good and bad, that are just like he's torn. He's torn. Even going into the afterlife, he's torn. He's being pulled in two different directions. Some of them don't want him to go. Some of them are saying, well, good riddance to you. You didn't even do anything. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. You didn't accomplish what you were supposed to accomplish. You're putting him down. And it's really that, you really have the bad side and the good side. The good side wants him to stay. The bad side, good riddance to you. Pete, he hears voices from Remsen, from Peter Thompson, from Miranda, who was really the Crimson Corpse. It wasn't Miranda. It was the Crimson Corpse acting like it was Miranda. It was never Miranda. It was the Crimson Corpse he brought back. So he's getting mocked and ridiculed. And on the other hand, he's being mourned. And it's like a confusing moment as he's drifting into the afterlife. And that's called Finis. Yeah. That's, not even really a song. It's just an outro, a transitional piece. And whether KK is brought back or not, time will tell. We'll see. But I could tell you, Encore, it's going to be a picture of the family plot. Oh. Okay? The family plot. KK's top hat will be on the corner of that gravestone. Remsen will be in the distance looking back over his shoulder. And back in that time period, they had little bells that were attached to the gravestone with a cord that goes into the casket. And the bell's ringing. So what does that mean? Can mean whatever it can mean. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's dead. Maybe he comes back. Who the hell knows? We don't know.
Do you want him to come back?
No, you heard. Don't get offended. Do I want him to come back? I don't know. Maybe. Don't take offense. You know what I'm saying? It's a character, but he's a character. He's a character. But why couldn't he come into the present day?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
What? It'd be different.
Or pop up in the late 80s during the Satanic Panic.
There you go. That's an option too. But either way, if there's a will, there's a way. If there's a will, there's a way. So could he come back? Of course he could. But it would be up to Remsen's offspring.
It's a lot of procreating.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's gonna be a lot of time.
Wow.
So that's it.
Some very magnificent storytelling, I have to say. I was particularly enthralled with what you did with this record. The surprises were definitely genuine, especially the Crimson Corpse. I thought that was a real neat twist.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I knew it had to come back in that story somehow, but I didn't, think that was going to be it. And then hear the album end like that. I'm like, oh my god.
So the Crimson Corpse is his true nemesis, and it's his true nemesis because he was this evil spirit that was inhabiting Sweet Hollow, that were trying to get into those children. He was successful, and here is this mortal, okay, that was battling him, so to speak, for the salvation of this girl, Mary Hawthorne, and he defeated him. So he was not taking that lightly. He was coming back. He took that opportunity to come back. He was opening up the doors with his ceremony. He was calling, but he was just, Crimson Corpse was just too much more powerful to be overcome by Miranda's spirit. He came through and make believe it was her.
Wow.
So that was that, and that's thematically. Musically is a different story. Musically, it's so funny because a lot of people have reviewed this. A lot of, I won't name names, but people that are in pretty established areas that have reviewed it, and they liked it a lot. They said that it was the heaviest record. It's the heaviest. I don't know about that, but hey, people interpret music differently. Some people might listen to something and say it's amazing. Other people might listen to it and say it's garbage. Or some people might listen to it and say, oh, it's a copycat. It's this, it's that. You know what? You take it how you take it. If you can have an open mind to listening to something, that like I'll give you an example. Someone said somewhere on someone wrote some kind of comment saying, oh, forget them. You should listen to Avatar. Now, I heard of Avatar.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to a bunch of songs. I'm like, I don't get it. Just me personally, I don't get it. It's like Korn meets Marilyn Manson. But you know what? That's just me. And I'm listening, and there's like a few songs. There's at least 2 songs I really could relate to. I really, really like the 2 songs. Bloody Angels and what was that other one? Something with Sunshine. Something I forget the name of the song. You don't listen to it. I know it's their new metal. They're new metal, but their visuals are stunning. They have stunning videos, stunning art in their in the visuals that they present, and it's some of the music's really good. And I'm not going to say it isn't, but some of it I can't relate to. Like what we play is something more that I would relate to. Yeah. Or like King Diamond, or like Iron Maiden, stuff like that, Judas Priest, stuff like that. Some of the new metal stuff I can't relate to. For me, I love guitar solos.
Right.
I love guitar. Who doesn't like a good guitar solo?
Right.
Especially one that like sings its own song.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. With majority of new metal, you don't get that. You're missing out on that whole layer. And the rhythms tend to be
monotonous.
I don't know if you want to call them dumbed down, more simplistic. Just just very simplistic, droning. And you know what? That's that style of music, and people like that. That's cool. There's some new metal bands that I like some of their songs. I'm not going to, I'm not a fan of new metal, but I'll listen to some songs. But my heart always lies with groups that have, solos. I love when bands have like dueling guitar solos. It makes it so much more interesting, Yeah. And we take it to another level. We have a keyboardist who, he injects his aura into what we do, and it's just like some of the stuff he does is just awesome. I mean, like keyboardists, you think, keyboardists in metal, they'll overplay. Mm-hmm. Given the opportunity, Richie doesn't overplay. Richie plays what he creates and what he brings to the table. None of us could come up with that. Like he just, he injects a whole other layer to what we do that makes it,
that makes it stand out. Yeah,
Richie and the way he plays and what he does for them's music reminds me a lot of Alan Lanier and Blue Oyster Cult.
Okay,
because in that he's perfectly in sync with everything, and part of that groove and accentuates it and adds a dimension, but doesn't go overbearing with it, which I think is a big problem with a lot of keyboard players in rock bands. It's just a little too much. He Alan Lanier's it instead of Rick Wakeman's it, and it's a very good thing.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Although I like Rick Wakeman.
Richie's very tasteful with what he executes, and without him, it would be like a thrash band. Like we're not a thrash band. love thrash. All of us love thrash. Like a lot of us.
Mm.
Well,
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, I find it interesting you bring that up because I just when people ask me when I talk about them to other people that haven't heard of you guys, I just describe you as heavy metal because while you incorporate a lot of these elements, you're really just truly doing your own thing that's heavy metal, but I wouldn't call it thrash or death or power metal or anything specific because you almost kitchen sink elements from a little bit of everything, but use them to your own purposes and you guys' own vision, and it works really well. Like, for example, on this record specifically, there's a lot of the dynamic dual lead guitar type stuff like a Judas Priest or an Iron Maiden, but one thing that also really, really stood out to me here is, really death metal Morris sounding drumming that is really aggressive and really almost vengeful that fits along very well and I feel drives the story and the emotion behind the lyrics. And so I don't know that I would call this them's heaviest record, but it certainly I felt has had the most aggressive overtones. Even, which is funny because, Free, yes, it does sound a little bit more commercial. Fair enough. But it still fits in with that aggressive theme with the rest of the album, I feel like. It's bouncy, it's up, but it still kicks your ass. It's like You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise on British Steel.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You see, he's a smart guy.
He's a smart guy. That's why he's on the
keep
show.
him around. Keep him around. He's a smart guy.
He's got a few more weeks left.
That's it. You giving him a parachute? You giving him a special package?
Yeah, getting out of here. No, but yeah, he's
Open
right.
Up the bag. I got a rock.
You got coal. I'm sending you coal.
That's it. That's it.
But no, Greg's right. I mean, when people ask me like what you guys sound like, I go for like maybe like New Testament. You kind of got that New Testament sound to you guys, and a mix of like King Diamond too. Even though, and you mentioned it before, King Diamond, and you hate when people compare you to King Diamond, and I totally get it.
I don't hate it. I think some of my band members hate it more than I do. But you know what? I think when I dislike it the most is when people make a comment. Like someone commented about Free being a King Diamond copy. Like, no, it's not. It sounds nothing like King Diamond. Like, not even in the same area. Like, in two different worlds apart at that point. And a lot of people also think because the name of the band, because of the logo, the aesthetics. I mean, some people said we copied the logo from Ghost, which, mind you, I have proof that is not true. We had that logo before Ghost ever came on the scene. I had that years before Ghost came out. I had a copyright. People forget that, copyrights don't lie. But I copywrote not the name, but the logo, the way it looks, because it's a regular name. You can't copyright a trademark, a name, and like a common name like that from a dictionary. You just can't do that.
Right.
And I remember too that you used to have the flyers when you guys used to be a cover band, and I always remember the logo being up there. So it's like,
the logo was different.
A little similar though.
I don't know.
I thought it was a little similar. I'm 40, so I'm getting old. Yeah, all right. So I'm wrong. Yeah, all right, fine.
It's
fine. It's not. I swore I remember it the other way.
That's okay. That's okay. But it wasn't.
I had that poster. Remember?
Oh, you do? When we had that logo, that's MySpace.com days. At that time, I had this logo that's right there on that album, right behind you. I had that logo. It was already done. It was done by what's his name? Travis Scott. What's his name? The guy from what's his name? Travis Smith. I think it's just No, he's a drummer. I think it's Scott. No,
Travis Scott. That's the guy from Judas Priest.
I know, but
no, that's Scott Travis.
Scott Travis. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
All right, fine. It matters.
It does. It does matter. Travis Smith.
Travis Smith.
Yep.
Travis
Smith, who's he's known best for designing heavy metal album art. King Diamond, Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, well, there you go. There's another tie.
Jackson, Opeth.
Huh. Getting back to the King Diamond thing, you have lessened a lot of the likeness. I guess that people would say you sound like King Diamond. You put a lot more of your own vocals and stuff into this album, I think. I know I feel like you changed a lot of stuff up on this.
Yes, there's still some like falsetto stuff, but
yeah, of course, you kept a lot of that stuff in. But I think
there, but it's not as prominent as it was in the past. To be honest with you, I think it's almost the same as the last record, maybe a little bit less, but it's almost on par with that last record. But one thing that is definitely certain, I definitely sing with my natural voice on a number of songs in this record. Yeah. Some over heavier music, and sometimes over like free, like something like that. And one particular song, Waken, which I was telling you about earlier, Waken, I didn't even know how I was going to sing it at all. When I went into the studio, I had the lyrics, and I said, I sang what I felt, and it was something like I've never sang like that ever before in my life. And I love that song. In fact, I forget who it was. Someone from one of the bigger mags overseas, they did an interview with me, and they said, that was like their favorite song, Waken. They really liked that song because it was very dynamic. I didn't know what to do. I'm not kidding. I walked into that studio. I'm like, I'm dead. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I going to do? And then, boom, it comes out. Yeah. That song. I had that happen with, not on Sweet Hollow, but Matter of Seven Gables. I had the same thing happen with the song Refuge in the Manor. That song, a lot of reviews, they like that song a lot. Same concept. I had no idea how I was going to sing it, how I was going to execute it. I knew what I wanted to relay, and I knew what the lyrics said, but I had no idea how I was going to execute it. And I went in there, and it came out the way it came out, and people liked it a lot. And sometimes some of the good stuff that comes out it's like spontaneous. It just happens. And there's no preparing for it. There's no planning. It just unfolds as it's being recorded. That, to me, I appreciate that. Like listening back to everything that like maybe I contributed, I appreciate stuff like that more than something that I might have planned a year ago. Right. It's just, to me, that's art. Like being able to go in and like, wow, I did that. I can't believe I did that. Like I'm always so like organized and I have everything laid out. And, I go in there and I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's gonna be crap. I'm done. Okay, well, one song it's not horrible if one song comes out, and I really like the song. It's one of my favorite songs, me personally, because how I executed it spontaneously, and I mean the story was already there, but and lyrically it was already done. But way it was executed, I was just. I'm not trying to be like a narcissist or anything. So I really didn't think it was going to come out like that. And there's nothing magical done behind the board. It's literally, I have multiple tracks that I record. I don't have any special effects or anything like that. They have a little reverb on. That's it. I've also been accused about using special harmonizers over the past, obviously when I do the falsettos, but we've never done anything like that. It's always been my voice. There has been, is auto-tune used very sparingly, like practically none. I would be lying if I said it was never used. Nobody's perfect, but I can tell you, it's hardly even touched. It might be touched once here or once there, a little piece here in one song or in another. Like, that's it. It's, and unlike in any of the albums. I even asked David Terra, I says, how much auto-tune did you use on any of the other albums? He goes, I hardly touch it with you. He says, you're right there, which is good. But you get to a song like Battle Blood, where you have the bridge part. That's like, I don't know, 20 guys.
Yeah.
You have to tune that, man. You can't, it'll sound like a bunch of drunks. Like, it'll just sound not unison. It'll sound off.
Yeah.
And so you have to use auto-tune for something like that.
Right.
Or at least nowadays, how accepted it back in the day. I don't know. I'd love to know that. I'd love to learn that secret because it's so precise and very militant-like,
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, that's pretty much it. Just how you execute. So
Udo's from Germany. KK's from Germany. Hit him up.
Yeah, right. KK and Udo. KK's mad at Udo.
Uh-oh, why?
Because Udo refused to sign his records.
Oh, all right.
No, actually, that was me.
You're getting confused now.
I remember, though.
We go to bus?
Yes.
We go to bus.
Why do you choose Battle Blood to be the next video?
We didn't choose anything.
No.
The label, Steamhammer chose it. Yeah. They chose both videos.
A good choice, personally. I like Battle Blood a lot.
I like Battle Blood too. I mean, I like, to be honest with you, I like just about all of them. I think I like all the songs really, but what would be, you have to be realistic and say like which ones are actually, like, I guess single worthy in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I could have chosen, 8 different songs easily, in my opinion, maybe more so than the last record, but that's not my choice. That's their job. They have a plan. They know what they have to do. What are they trying to achieve? They're trying to sell records. So that's the goal, right? But we have nothing to do with that. They say, free, Battle Blood, such and such date, and it's done. And that's how it is. Just,
So if you want to do another one, are you able just to do whatever you want, or
we could? No, we do have to. We do have to discuss that with the label. But we did that last time. We had a third one. I don't know if that's going to happen this time, because really the most crucial time is up until like pre-order, up until the day the record comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they sell the majority of their copies. Is that time? So once they announce pre-order to the day it comes out, and then after that it just dies down quickly. That's like with pretty much any band. So for us to create another video, financially it might not make sense. But me personally, I would love to release all 3 records and a special collector's set with special art, special pictures, a special book, maybe a copy of KK's face in there. I don't know, like make a whole collector's edition with the book some kind of special book.
Like a graphic novel kind of.
Well,
thing.
I'm actually working on a graphic novel with the artist, but it's not that. It would be something with pictures. Like we did a tour book for the last record. We did a tour book, and in the tour book, I had full color photos depicting the different characters and whatnot. We just don't have those pictures, those types of pictures, because we had no tour planned. We were gonna do the same thing and have the pictures, but I think that a book that has these pictures, that has like a kind of like a summary of the story, like a Cliff Notes version of the story, without every single little detail, that would be part of this collection. Graphic novel, it would be soup to nuts, the whole entire story in nitty gritty detail, similar to like The Walking Dead, but not 200 episodes. It'd be just a graphic novel. The cover more than likely it will be KK's cross, burned cross on his face. And I'm not sure what the title is going to be just yet, but it's going to be something with KK Fosser. Something with KK Fosser, the trying times of KK Fosser, something like that. And the one thing I do know is there are 3 acts to the story: Sweet Hollow, Matter of Seven Gables, Return to Hemmersmoor. Back in the Garden with That Sleeps will be in there. Encore. They'll all be there.
Now, before we started the show, you were talking for like over an hour, but and
time's up. Okay, bye.
And on. No, you were telling us how you recorded this album, and you kind of recorded it illegally, with sneaking off in the middle of the night and doing your vocals. Give us a little background.
Whatever, narc.
Give us a little background how you did this, because it sucks because you started recording when the pandemic started, so
Yeah. It wasn't majority. Most of it was in the mornings actually, which was worse.
All right,
because I'm sorry, I'm like an idiot like that. Most of it was in the mornings, and you had to know what you had to be. Like you're driving around, and the studio was in a business district, so you're not supposed to be going to work. You're not supposed to be going to businesses. You could go to a supermarket, you can go to Home Depot, right? But you couldn't go to work. You couldn't even go near work, any work. So I was just worried. I was worried about, because he could have gotten a fine, the studio owner. I think it was like a $10,000 fine at the time. And it's just, even though we were social distance, even though we were, very, careful and cautious, we segregated ourselves. It did, they would just fine him, and I didn't want him to take that chance. But he said, just if you just do it this way, who's going to say anything? So it was a little nerving to do it that way. People if I was going by, people be like looking. It was just weird. I just felt like more eyes were on me once I got in there. Like right before I got in there. Like there's a building manager walking around, like, what are you doing? Like looking at me. It's just, I don't know. I just noticed it more.
Yeah, well, because everybody's suspicious. Everybody, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. And what was funny is, a lot of those days, I would do a session, and I sometimes I'd go home afterwards, and have to just roll out of that, literally transition from that role to taking my dog for a walk, cooking dinner, whatever the case may be. There's no or sometimes I even went early and then went to work afterwards. Went early in the morning, early in the morning, like the time that I wouldn't normally record, and then go to work. And it was just, there's no transition. There was no downtime, so I incorporated it into my everyday life, but I had to be very just cautious about how I went about it. I didn't want to get anybody in trouble, and we still had a schedule. We kept our schedule. We gave the masters, everything was handed to the label right when we were supposed to hand it.
Yeah. Good job.
Them was molded to operate during a pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, being an international band the way you guys are,
we're pandemic proof, so that's what we say.
And then you mentioned about your little dog there, Naya. She makes an appearance on the album, right?
Yes, actually, in a song called Hellhounds, The Harbingers of Death. If you listen carefully, at some parts on the song, you hear a dog barking, growling, yelping. That's all her.
Yeah.
It took me about a good solid week to capture those moments. I created samples from them, and then imported them, flew them into the tracks right where they needed to be.
Mm.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
those
it creates
dogs,
a very good visual.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was the point. I was really just trying to get her. I said, you know what? It's so funny because I look at people and say, you know what? You would be good to do this. You would be good to do that. And it's family and friends, and that's who are always involved with all this stuff. Meaning this extra stuff. It's family and friends. It's you know what? Nah, you want to be. You just have to bark. Here's a Zoom recorder. Bark into it. And that's how it pretty much went down. I just captured a few different times. Like I knew her certain like mannerisms, and when she, and I would try to trigger them over the course of like about a week, and I captured tons of samples, and raw, and then I created samples. I cleaned them up, and I made samples out of them.
Yeah, it came out really cool. Like I said, it adds to the song too.
Yeah, and that's a great song too.
It's a good song. It's also another thrashier type of song.
Yeah, it's definitely
thrash band, but where we can be thrashy at times, we can be power metal at times. So there's different. That's why I think the label penned us as a power / thrash band, because that's the closest. Because sometimes we're thrash, sometimes we're thrashy, sometimes we're power metal. But it's just, sometimes maybe even like a speed metal, but it's heavy metal. It's heavy metal.
Yeah.
And, we're not trying to copy anybody. We're not trying to, there was some tips of the hat before with King. I love King Diamond, but I've never once tried to copy him. People have, it's so amazing how people jump to conclusions. I know, just because I sing falsetto at times, I'm copying him. Okay, what about all the countless death metal bands that execute their vocals in their way? Are they copying the other guy? Are they copying the innovators?
Totally. They all ripped off Chuck.
There you go.
I'm just kidding, but yeah.
But that's my point. My point is, I've never once tried to blatantly rip off anybody. I would have to be literally me personally. I'd have to be such a pathetic individual to try to do that. I have my own creativity, my own visions, and if people can't see a tip of the hat, the name Them, we kept Them, and I pushed for that mainly because without King Diamond, there would be no Them original Them. There would be no, and it's not because we have some songs that sound in a similar vein but heavier than you. It's because it stems from being a King Diamond tribute with the same name, and then it evolved into an original act, but plays heavier. It's heavier. We have a full-time keyboardist. It's heavier at times. A lot of times it's heavier. It's very thrashy at times, and it's just we like you said previously, Wayne, that we inject our own ideas and our own us into what we do.
No.
I'm not sitting there saying, okay, what is he going to do next? Well, I'm not doing that. The last thing he released was something from the cutting room floor, and it was pushed off as a single, and I love him, and I'll beat you to buying the new record. I'll buy the new record right away if it ever comes out. But you know what? I'm very upset as a fan. I'm very upset and disappointed that I feel, me personally, I'm not going to speak for other people, but I feel like I'm getting strung along as a fan. That Metal Blade is pushing all these different, reissues, merch. And that's great. That's, what? That's awesome. You got this King Diamond doll and that King Diamond statue, and that, it's all great. Okay. Hey, I own a lot of that stuff. The sneakers and this and that. I get it. But when you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm walking to that line in that sand, and this is how it's going to go down, and you don't do it, and you keep saying, I'm coming to that line in the sand. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. And it never happens. Then I think what did it for me was he announced Merciful Fate. Merciful Fate, 3 new songs, whole new tour. Whoa, time out there, cowboy. What happened? What happened to the album?
Yeah.
That you just toured? Where is it? Oh man, I was so upset. I mean, well, I can't say upset. I was actually happy but upset.
Yeah.
Of course I would love to see Merciful Fate. In fact, I'll probably fly to one of those shows to see it. I'll be one of the first to fly. But what about where you started? Yeah. You said you were going to go to that line in the sand, and you're not doing it yet. Why? Is it because you can't do it? Is it because you don't want to do it? Then if it's either of that is correct, then why are the fans getting strung along? Me being one of them. I'm the one, I'm shelling out money. I'm like this, I want this, I want the statue, I want this, I want the figures, every version of the figures. You know what? People say whatever they want to say. I buy the stuff. And you know what? I feel disappointed. I feel like I'm getting strung along. So I never want, personally, to ever make anybody that appreciates what we do as a group, I never want anybody to feel that we would do that. And that's why ever since, and this has nothing to do with King or Merciful Fate or anything like that, it has to do with, when we started this, 4 years ago, we released 3 albums and a 7-inch. Well, we have another 7-inch in the bag too, but it's not going to come out right now. But the point is, three albums in 4 years. That's pretty good. I understand it's a new project.
A lot of bands could get one album out by then.
I've been waiting for that one album. Where is it?
Yeah.
And I'm saying this as a fan. I'm not saying this as I'm trying to be holier than thou. I'm not trying to do that in any way. I mean, I appreciate King as an artist. I always have. And I've purchased his stuff as a fan. I've bought into everything that he has sold, But what I don't buy into with anyone is when they say they're going to do something and they don't do it. It makes me feel let down. It makes me feel like the puppy dog waiting at the door, waiting for the few little table scraps of food from the dinner table, and they never bring it to me. And it's just, I'm disappointed. Do you hear it? Do you hear it in my voice?
I hear your voice. You're very upset. I'm upset too. Upset. Shit, we do a King Diamond show. What do you think we feel like? As soon as we're done with the last album, what are we going to do? Show's over.
Yeah, that's true. It's a cool show, but
and I've been waiting even longer for the new Merciful Fate record.
What was that?
I've been waiting even longer for a new Merciful Fate record.
I'll fight you to buy the first copy.
Yeah. But it's not done. It's just sleeping. Listen, if you're gonna fuck me, at least buy me dinner first.
Listen, anything could be said. Anything, right? But the minute you tell your fans, us being 3 of them, you got to deliver. It's one thing, you know what? Okay, whatever, if you're sick or you have some kind of condition that prevents you from doing that. But if you're touring and touring and touring, then you switch your gears to tour again with a different band. What are you saying to your fans that are waiting like this? Oh, yeah. I want the album. I want the new music. Even if it isn't amazing, I would like to get it. I would like to experience it. Not every single CD you have there on your rack over there is amazing.
Speak for yourself.
Shut up.
I only buy amazing albums.
Come on.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, at least 3 of them are. The 3 of them albums.
Come on, not even them.
But I don't have
no pun intended. You don't have it. But the thing is, out of all those albums you have, some you connect to them and you could relate to them. Some you might have purchased, and you might be like, "Oh, it's okay." But you know what?
I haven't even opened yet.
I'm sure. But my point is, you have an experience. What's happening right now is we're being denied that experience, and we're being told something completely else, something completely different. Oh, this is what's happening. Okay, and the motions start going, and then all of a sudden, nothing happens, and then there's another tour announced with another band, and I know it's impossible. How is a record going to come out? You put out a record, people want you to promote it. How do you promote it? You tour.
Yeah.
And the only reason why our label's releasing the record is because of the time period. We were supposed to tour, but they still have to sell records, so they wanted to release it. But otherwise, we would have been touring when the record comes out. That's how it is. It's like an algorithm that all the bands follow. You put out a record, you tour before or right after.
Yeah.
That's it.
No record. Halloween was supposed to release their album this year, and then they pushed it back because of the virus, and they can't tour or anything, so they pushed it back till next year.
Well, they have an album in the can, ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go.
So Bluest for Cults will still be coming out on schedule.
Yeah.
When's that coming up?
October 9th.
Oh, I just noticed something about your shirt. They copied the lettering from them.
Well, considering that this logo was originally done for the album cover of On Your Feet or On Your Knees, which came out in 1975.
Well, Troy was born.
But KK is a warlock.
Yeah, KK probably stole that too. That's right. KK did that.
No, I was trying to imply he went back in time to influence them.
Maybe he did. We're time machine.
Well, getting back to them, the new album's really awesome. I like pretty much every single song on here. I mean, the opening, well, not the opening track, but the first song, Age of Ascension, awesome opener. Tumultuous Voyage, a great song. Freeze, another great one. Field of Immortality is great. Every song is really good on here. I mean, it matches up right with the last album, and I really like it a lot. And
that's awesome. Thank you.
I really hope you sell at least 1 or 2 copies.
I'll be happy if 2 are sold. 3 would be like a bonus plan.
Yeah, but I saw you got the shirts up now, right? On the what is it, EMP website? Where is it?
There's a few websites that are selling them, but I had nothing to do with that. But
I know
it's cool. It's a cool shirt. It's the scene.
What is the
scene
website?
Well, there's SPV.
SPV, yes, thank you.
Yeah, but it's for sale on other websites too, actually. But it's an exclusive shirt from the label.
Yeah,
and it's a scene. Actually, it's the same artwork that's in the middle of the Gatefold album, and that's KK resurrecting Miranda.
Yeah. I could show that, right? I'll put it up. I'll put the picture up.
Yeah, you could put the picture up. You could put all the artwork up. You could put the complete album cover.
Sure. I will add that to this so people can see it, because it's really great artwork. Again, Mario Lopez worked on it, right?
Yeah, he's killer. Yeah, Mario Lopez. He did the last album and this one.
Yeah.
And Back in the Garden with Death Sleeps, he did that one too. That cover.
Yeah.
And
he does some great work. I mean, even paint. That's all paint. It's not like digital.
No, I have a large picture.
Yeah.
On my monitor here, and you can see the grooves of the canvas.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you look at the front cover, do you see anything? Oh, there's 2 things to look for. I don't know if you saw it, little like hidden gems.
I saw. You had to point one of them out to me.
Which one was that?
The trees.
Okay, the trees, and then in the middle where KK's resurrecting Miranda, there's another little hidden gem.
I sent it to you, Greg, before. In the middle.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Where she's levitating
right now.
Where she's levitating. Oh yes, yep. What about it?
You see it?
I see a skull in the background.
Yes, you mean above her. That's the Crimson Corpse.
Yeah.
So he's lurking. So Mario is just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Yeah, he's a really great artist.
And by the way, the name of the ship that transports Thompson and his crew is called the Harbinger.
Nice.
All these
Really
little
cool.
details were accounted for this time, and details have been accounted for on all the albums, but the little extra details in the artwork. Mario really outdid himself. He's a fantastic artist. I would recommend him to any group looking, or even not group, just anyone looking for some kind of artwork for their project. He's just incredible.
Yeah, he's awesome. He actually did some King Diamond work too.
He did.
He drew some like King Diamond pictures, and they came out really cool. I think he did like the story for like them and Conspiracy or something. I can't remember what it was.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
I think both.
Yeah, really cool stuff he does.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Yes, he is.
I would love to work with the guy again. So we'll see.
Any special guest on this album? Because you had Paul Sabu in the last one doing some backups.
Oh, he's on this too.
He's on this one too.
Paul Sabu is on this one. Yep. And the same guy who did the voiceover for Peter Thompson is back as well. Yeah. Greg Hawk. His name is Greg Hawk, and Greg Hawk was he was the bass player of Cold Steel when I used to play with Cold Steel.
Oh, okay.
But he became the voice of Peter Thompson. So shout out to Greg Hawk.
Boy, Greg.
Dead by Dawn.
Dead by Dawn. Greg Hawk.
Maybe next album we'll get asked to be on it.
You never know. You are perfect for this role.
Yes.
What do I get to be? His future offspring stoner best friend? Wow, man, far out.
Well, work.
You do want to bring him back. You do want to bring him into the future. Anything's possible.
Yeah, I could be like that nerdy kid from The Gate with the Venom vest.
The Gate. That was not that movie. I got to tell you. So when you mentioned you we're joking around about all this, but there's definitely systematically there's a good reason why this would work or wouldn't work. Because let's just say there's reason for them to continue. Well, there's a natural progression to go in a certain way, and it can happen. But if there was no reason, okay, it could end clean, and it's done. I don't foresee it ending, and I would like it to continue. And there's another option too. That could be someone completely different other than KK. Could not even be, you wouldn't even be talking to Troy. Who knows? I don't know. We don't. You don't really know what will happen in the future until it happens. I mean, obviously, you could plan towards a path, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will bring you there. It could be something completely different.
I think Remsen could front the next album.
Remsen's too erratic to do that.
That'd be perfect. Are you kidding me?
You want to hear something funny though? One of the shows, not shows. I think the last tour. I think they sold all the Remsen. Like we had a shirt for all the singles that we released. Right. So one for Witchfinder because we had 3. Witchfinder, Circuitus or Circuitus. You say tomato, I say tomato. And then there's As a Sage Burns. So we had a shirt for each single, right? And we sold out of all the ones with Remsen because Remsen was on one of them. We bought all of them like right away.
There you go.
We sold all of them out like that. I was like blown away. I'm like, wow, Remsen's got some fans out there.
That's pretty damn cool.
I thought that was cool. Remsen's like this erratic, like quirky, geeky, like weird guy, but he reminds me a lot like Frankenstein's assistant Igor, like from Young Frankenstein, but not really so much hunched over, but
what up?
Yeah, exactly. What up? What up? So, he's and the guy who portrays Remsen, and he also portrays Peter Thompson in the live action sense. His name is Dennis Carter Jr. He's definitely a man of many talents, many faces for Dennis.
Yeah, definitely good stuff. Great stuff. And if you people out there go and buy this album, you'll find out. Right, Troy?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think they'll be disappointed with the record.
I don't think so either.
No, not at all.
I think they would enjoy it. It's definitely, it's something, especially if you buy the gatefold, because you have the artwork all blown up. You have the lyrics. They have the CD as well, so you could use the vinyl or just have the vinyl for art purposes. And it's just something to look at, to really, like if you want to sit down and just engross yourself into like this conceptual horror-esque type of story, it's perfect for around Halloween, especially. Hence the reason why they're releasing it Halloween. I think it's great. I know a lot of people have reached out to me saying, "Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it." That's cool, And if not, I'm still excited,
Yeah. It's always exciting putting out new music, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So please check it out. Check out the lyric video for free, and then actually I'll probably get this video up this week. So I guess in a couple days the new video will be up for Battle Blood. So that'll be really cool. And we'll get
Battle to the end.
We'll get to hear that little extra scene that's not in the album that you gave us a little sneak peek of.
Yeah, you'll be playing.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. Anything else?
I missed you guys.
I know.
Yeah, we missed you too.
You gotta come back more.
Definitely.
Okay.
Life
has come. Don't say that.
I was going to say, I'll save my one little piece of criticism, just because it was such a good record.
We'll do it after.
No, you can bash it all you want. I don't care.
There's no bashing.
No, actually, honestly, I really enjoyed every song on this, and it's definitely on par with Manor of the Seven Gables. I can't say it's as good at it, because Manor of the Seven Gables is just a masterpiece.
Wow.
That's a 10 out of 10 record right there. That's a really good album.
I'll take that.
This one's really good too. The only thing that bothered me was there are certain parts where I feel like a riff goes on a little bit too long to
really okay.
Kind of follow along and let the speaking parts finish. Not that the song should be shortened. It just would have been nice to hear a little bit of a change up there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Not a really big deal. Doesn't hurt the album anyway.
You know what's really difficult right now? Just really balancing all that. It's just difficult balancing all that. That's all. So sometimes it's harder to do it than others. And it's easy. We did what we could do, but it's good constructive criticism.
Well, if you can go back and edit those few parts,
you would have to tell me where they are.
I
could do that. Sure.
Yeah, I can get it down to the second. Not a problem.
Really? Okay. Let me know.
It's really only two specific spots, and the only reason it stood out to me was because everything else just flows so beautifully that there was an abnormality, and I was like,
Yeah, I'm sending this to him now, to Wayne.
Oh, I thought you guys said
it's called. No. Yeah, I missed those guys. I missed all of them. All right, so I just sent it to you. It's called the original Battle Blood intro.
Oh, all right, cool.
Send it to Greg, and then you could, post it. Post it. We're hoping that this will be. I'm thinking. I don't know if it's going to come out the same time as the video. I think the video is going to come out, and maybe that will come out like as a little bonus, like around Halloween. Maybe we'll play it. They'll play it on them's website. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But I don't know if it's going to make it for Friday, but within a month it will be out.
All right.
I'm
At
thinking.
least as long as it gets out, that's all that matters.
Yeah, people want to hear the
Yes.
music more than anything, so that's
They
I think most.
Definitely. And the new album's definitely worth hearing. So please check out what's the website? Is it still them666 or something.com or yeah,
There you
all
go.
right, I was right. There we go. And Facebook at them whatever, I don't know. Them666 too?
No, it's Them Band Official.
Them Band Official at
.com. Facebook.com/Them Band Official.
There you go. And Twitter as well, right? I don't see you guys write too much on Twitter.
No, we're more of a Facebook.
Yeah. Usually the older people are Facebook.
I was about to say, Fishy one, give him a break.
But that's fine. So am I. But thank you very much, Troy, for coming on the show.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on, Troy. It was good having you on again, and good to have a new Them album to talk about.
It was great talking to you.
Yeah. Don't leave anywhere. What?
Next time I won't say anything. You guys could talk.
Yeah, that'd be great. It is our show. I had tons of questions, and we went on for 2 hours now. I don't even want to ask them.
You could edit all that out.
No, I'm not editing that out.
I think it was a very constructive conversation. Thank you very much.
Actually, you know what?
I won't try to give you the whole lowdown.
You did talk about some stuff about meeting people like after shows and stuff. So give me one really cool story, and so I can add the other ones.
Besides, he already did about.
I know, but is there one is that the best one?
No.
What's the best one?
Oh wow. Well, which from what sense? At any time I've ever played, or with them the original, or
yeah.
With them. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's so many good ones. I already gave you two awesome shows. Two awesome examples. Let me think.
Let's mix it up and give us the best one from Cold Steel.
There you go.
Cold Steel. Oh, wow, that's so long ago. That's so long ago.
All right, never mind. Think of a third
Put me on the spot. All right, hold on. Let me just think about this for a second. I would have to say another one besides that. Okay. Well, does it have to be with someone that I interacted with from the audience, or
whatever?
Or
I don't care.
Whatever. Okay. Let's see. Well, I could say something about Cold Steel. I'll do Cold Steel. I'll do one of each. Cold Steel's last show with Halloween, Anaheim, California. We're playing Crackdown. People had no idea who we were, and I got a lot of the people in the front singing Crackdown. And you guys know the song. You know the song, right, Wayne? Right?
Not off the top of my head, but
I've
heard it.
So I got them singing Crackdown. And there was this little kid with his dad, and he had like earmuffs on. And I went over. I gave him something. I don't remember what I gave him, but he was like looking at me like
God.
Yeah, something like that, And I'll never forget the moment that I locked eyes on him. He was so appreciative, and the father was very appreciative. And I forgot what I gave him. I think I gave him like a pick or something. And I walk off, and as I'm walking off, 2 security guards followed me. So I'm like, oh, I guess this is what the big boys experience. Because we're a direct slot. And, because I was actually in the audience. Yeah. So, like, I jumped down from the stage, and you have a barricade about 12 feet where there's a pit where photography takes place for the first 3 or 4 songs. And then security guards stand there. So I jumped up on the barricade, and I was just like hitting everybody. And during the last part of Crackdown, and they were just, I was like something like, I forgot exactly what I said. I don't know if I said something like, we're cold effing steel, and whatever, we'll be back soon or whatever. But that was years ago. and people were like,
so you lied.
They were
liar.
And as far as for them is concerned, I would say, it was another last show in L.A. We were playing in L.A. and a lot of people came. All the people there. It was again with Halloween, but it was with them now as a direct slot. The last show, and the people wanted, they loved it. They were really enjoying our performance, and then some guy yelled out, King Diamond or something like that. It was like King Diamond or whatever, like something like that. I forget exactly what he yelled out. I was like, I did, and then people were laughing. So the guy didn't like that, obviously. So after each show, we would go to the merch table and, like sign some autographs if people wanted it. It was a way to get people to the merch table, right? The guy came after me. Like he came up to me to like fight me. And now I had a cane in my hand with a skull. I'm looking at the cane, I'm looking at him. And before anything could happen, like it was, things like that happens quick. Two of the guys that were with us just stood right in front of me and was like, you want him, you're going to go through us first. Sort of something like that. And I raised the cane. I went like that with the cane because I had a skull top. Went like that. Like that. He walked away. He just walked away. So that was an interesting, it's something that I didn't want to happen.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I'm doing my thing, and all of a sudden there was a quiet moment, and usually you could hear a pin drop. People like so engrossed with what we were doing. One guy thought it was funny, and he was just like, King Diamond. And I went, like,
yeah.
I went, I shushed him. And he didn't like that. Like, it was embarrassing. Everybody was laughing. Like not everybody, but a lot of people were laughing. Because they knew what was going on. And he was like, got all mad. And then he waited for me. So that was interesting.
He sounds like an ass from the beginning, though. I'm not really surprised. Like, obviously, he said it to try to mess with the show, and he didn't get his way, so hell with him. He should just count himself lucky your buddies were there, and he didn't get Nancy Kerrigan by a cane skull.
Do you know what? Right, exactly. That would have happened. If, we play again, I anticipate that to happen. Yeah. Maybe I'll be a little different. I don't think I would do that, but who knows? Like, you don't know. It's so hard to contain yourself when you're doing your thing, and then all of a sudden something like that happens. How do you deal with that? Yeah. You ignore it. You ignore it. You usually ignore it. I've ignored other things too. People holding up King Diamond shirts to me before, like just like this, like that, or pointing to their shirt. Like this guy who's going to do it to me. Of course he's going to do it to me. And I wouldn't
now. Do you think anybody does that in a form of camaraderie, though, to kind of say, hey, we're both King Diamond fans?
I think sometimes. Sometimes, and in some cases, just to get a reaction from me.
Okay. Hi, Gene.
Perfect. Face to face. Where are you going? I was talking to him.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you could talk to him face to face now.
Okay. When is your album coming out?
Never.
Why?
It's never going to come out. I lied. I'm a liar.
I want to buy it. I want to give you my money to buy it. Where is it?
Well, you can't buy it because it's not coming out.
I'm very upset.
I'm so sorry. I lied to you.
And I'm not speaking for anybody else but myself. I want my album that you promised.
Call my grandma. Bye. I do a terrible King Diamond impersonation, if you couldn't tell.
It was close enough.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, like actually when we did that tour that's on that poster on hanging behind where Wayne sits, all the Canadian, there were two Canadian dates. We played those shows, and after the show, literally, I take the gear off, take the makeup off, put on the baseball cap. I look like a regular Joe Schmo. And I walk up to people, be like, "Oh, how was that band that opened up for Halloween? Oh, they were awesome, or they were, really good, or oh, wow, really, I missed them. I didn't get a chance to see them. I'll have to check them out another time." and walk away.
That's awesome.
Had no idea that it was me. That is cool. I like that because it gives me a little bit of like a privacy, I guess. Like not that like I'm no rock star or anything like that. But what on the flip side, we were in Germany. I forget where. This is the first time we went. It was in 2017 for Sweet Hollow. And I'll never forget, we pulled up to this venue. It was a nice venue. I forget the name of it. But we all got out of we have a kind of like a mini bus type of van, big van. It's really big.
Sure.
We get out, and I walk towards the venue by myself, like through the back way. I just wanted to see where we're going to load in or whatever. And then people are hanging out, just stretching their legs. And I walk to the back, and some guy was literally maybe like across the street. And he walks up to me, and he goes, "Hi, I'm whoever," with a broken German. He's like, "Hi, whatever. I'm so and so." "Oh yeah, hi." He says, "You mind if I take a picture with you?" I'm like, "You want a picture with me? Well, why?" And he's like, "Well, you're KK." I was impressed. I was like, "Really? Sure, why not? What the hell?" But most of the time, a lot of people they don't make that connection.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. I mean, like, and there have been numerous times where we go on stage in the heat of the moment. I'm like, pointing to people or whatever, and then they're like looking up from the audience, and they're like all excited or whatever. You could see like excitement in their face, And then the same people, I come, like, let's say we finish the show, say I go back to our merch table or whatever, and they're at the merch table all excited talking about it. And I'm just looking, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, "Oh, hi. Yeah, so blah, 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 blah." And they just continue talking, not knowing that I was just who they were, like, looking like this, like a deer in headlights.
That's awesome.
It's funny, and I'm cool with that. It doesn't bother me. That same tour, the second
okay,
show.
Wait, let's
on.
let Wayne introduce it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Introduce what?
The
You
show.
want me to tell this last story? I'll forget it.
Yeah,
if
go
you
ahead.
want.
Tell
It'll be
your
another
last
half
story.
hour. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, he can edit it in. He can edit it in.
Yeah, that's
So-
go ahead.
That it was the second show. I did the same thing. All right, in Canada, it was Quebec City, and there was this girl who, she was in a wheelchair, and I went up to her after the show, and I sat down, and I think whoever she was with, they thought maybe I was gonna like cause problems or whatever, so they like kind of like surrounded me, and there was like one or two people with her, and I said, "Oh, did you see that band?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, Did you like them?" She said, "I love them." And I forgot what I did. I don't know if I gave her a shirt or a poster or something. I gave her something, and I said, "Well, I'm the singer, and I just wanted to thank you for watching the show. You didn't have to, because back in the States, a lot of people don't do that. They don't watch the opening band, but Canada, they all watch it, the whole thing. There's not one single person out. They watch the show, and I appreciate that from the people from Quebec. They all were like that, all of them. But I went up to her, and I wanted to make a night, and I'm still friends with her on Facebook. She
really
comments
cool.
and stuff. Yeah, she was a nice girl, and she didn't believe it. She's like, "No way, that's not you." I'm like, "Yeah, that was me. I promise you." Or maybe I sang to her something, whatever. I did something like that, and she believed it. But it was a cool moment. It was definitely a cool moment where you can interact with someone. And the other thing was, I met someone at another show. It was in Montreal, the show before the one I was just talking about. It's on that poster that he has. And she was a bass player for the band before us. Her name was Nady. And she was, she really liked our group, and their group liked our group. And it's like, "Thank you very much." And she happened to be an artist. And she, she said, "Well, look, I'm a painter, and I'd like to paint something for you sometime." I said, "Sure, no problem. What would you like me to paint?" And I said, "You could paint paint something with KK walking through the cemetery or whatever, but you have to put something in the photo indicating that it is Quebec. And so she made a painting for me. It's on my wall. I don't know if I could show you. It's one of my souvenirs. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe not. All right, let's see. I have to bring it here. I can bring it here. I'll bring it here. In a minute, I'll bring it here. But she just, within the year, she passed away. She died.
Oh, no.
It was very sad. She painted this for me. And I'm very honored that she made that for me. Like someone made me this wood cutout, I got that. I made the painting, and I keep it all. I kept it. I have it. And that thing is up there in the corner.
That's awesome.
Yes,
where am I
still there?
It's there. Yeah, that's where it stays. As long as I'm here.
It's perfectly right there.
Perfect. Yeah, and her picture is not on this wall, but on this wall. That's why I can't really. It's on the far corner. I'll bring it up. I'll take it down.
You can just take a picture and I can put it up on the screen.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll take a picture.
Save you trouble, because then you'll probably never get it back up on the wall.
That might be. I don't remember how. You might be.
All right. Again, Troy, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No problem. And everything that we would say, everything I was complaining about before about that guy over there, it's all peace and love. I say it with peace and love.
Cool.
because I really want what's supposed to come out. That's all.
All right.
And I'm upset. I'm disappointed. But
I'll
thank you
see
for
what I
coming
can
out.
do.
Talk to him for me. Just talk
I will.
to him,
You know what? I'm going to text him right now.
More importantly than that, I think we should more show our support and get someone out there to get Kim Russ an ability so he could drum on something again.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Here we go.
Well, I mean, we're all in contact with him. I mean, there's got to be someone out there.
Actually, he hasn't wrote me back in a while.
Oh, he's even older than Troy is. He's not about Facebook, man. He told us that.
No, even on emails, too, because we were talking back and forth and he just disappeared. But that's a different story for another time.
Yeah.
In the meantime, please check out ratsaladreview.com.
Yeah.
Please check out our T-shirts. There's a link to the T-shirts. I made some new ones. Some really cool ones.
And they're pretty rad.
They are.
Pretty rad.
I'm expecting the newest one tomorrow, which is a take on the Don't Break the Oath album cover. So that came out pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. So iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, please subscribe, share, like our stuff, and we will see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye.
Open up and feel the night. Prepare to withstand the cold.